Hello, Cancer. This is your extended reading. So I know that in the first part there was like a very like a good vibe, right? There was a lot of just good feelings of finding your own home, and I feel like that is true. However, that is ending a very important phase in your life, Cancer. And here in the extended, I feel like it can be like something so small as signing a contract for a rental or buying your home, right? Or making this contract. It's like that can be something practically very simple, but beneath the surface, right? Beneath the practical details, I feel like there is a lot of internal processes that you are going to face once this really happens. So we begin your reading with two opening cards, actually. So these two cards flip together, the King of Wands and the Five of Pentacles, which is very interesting. So the interesting thing about this King of Wands, because there are any other Wands cards in your reading, I feel like this is like a third party, or maybe the real estate agent or somebody that you have hired to make this deal, or like a lawyer. However, like it fits in your situation, Cancer. I feel like this is a person that is just being this connection point, right, between you, the buyer, and the house itself, right? It's like they are providing you with the contract. And so actually what I saw here, it's interesting because I'm seeing them as a very it's like the status of an important lawyer, right? Or an important, it's almost like they are providing you, Cancer, with the seriousness of this thing, right? Because remember, we opened the first part with the Four of Pentacles, so it was, and with the message coming from this card being finding your grounds. So it's almost like you were, you know, creating this list of essential things, essential conditions and items in practical terms, both as, you know, the emotional terms that you included as well. But in terms of practicalities, it's like you had a set of things that were essential to you, right? And so initiating this part of the reading with this guy here being the auction guy or the lawyer, or, you know, however is making this bridge, right, between you buying your house and the house itself, or the previous owners, or whatever it is. They are making it real in a more concrete kind of way, right? Because the Five of Pentacles, well, you already saw yourself and imagined yourself and visualized yourself emotionally through your abilities, right? To project maybe how it would be once you moved, right? How you could live there, seeing yourself living there. Here, it's like they are making it happen in a practical, maybe official kind of way, right? So I heard them saying, you just have to sign here. It's almost like they're giving you a paperwork or a contract. They are like signing, like they are signaling, this is where you have to sign, right? This is what I'm seeing with the Five of Pentacles. So it's like if you gave them, right, the list of things of, find me a place that ticks all of this list, all of these items, right? It's like they gave you exactly what you wanted. So now they're handing you the contract and saying, you just have to sign here. And they're indicating where you have to sign, which is very interesting to me because this feels pretty basic, pretty standard, pretty like normal, right? But it's not that simple for you, right? So I'm going to start from actually, yes, these are the opening cards, but all of the cards that are coming next, it's all of your emotional and mental processing of everything that is going on after this moment. And I feel like somehow it's like you are going through a huge transformation, right? Because we have the death card coming next. But more than being just a huge transformation, right? Which, yes, with all of the cards that you may have seen in the thumbnail, we only have like 2 cups cards, which are you, Cancer, and swords cards. But this is what I feel like comes in with the message of do not create huge expectations that you cannot see all of the details this far ahead. It's like let your intuitive senses guide you through whispers, right? It's almost like there is no need to be scared. It's like even though you cannot see further down the road, once this thing is set into motion, in a sense that once you enter the home, right? I can see this door of the death card as like the first time that you enter this door. Isn't it fascinating how like the shape of the doorways, and when I created this deck, I didn't think of this similarity because these are, they come from different sources. They're not, anyways. So this is the interesting thing. It's almost like when you visited the place or when you went for the auction, or it's like the first time that you saw the place, like there was no door. Like there was no barrier between you coming from the outside and entering this space. It's like your imagination was filling up the room, right? You could imagine yourself there. But once it happens, like literally happens, and you sign the paper, it's almost like you have to open the door, like the real door, right? Because in your imagination it was pretty much, well, fluid and easy, right? But when it happens physically in a very tangible kind of way, it feels like a big deal for you, right? It feels like you're crossing from one chapter to another, and it's like really going to change your life, perhaps, right? So this is the first time that you are going to officially enter the room, the house, and it's yours, right? And you have like signed the contract that this is going to be your space forever, or for how many months or years that you have signed the contract for. And I feel like this is where it can get really tricky. But so because we have the 10 of Swords here following, remember I said there are only swords cards here in the extended, apart from the 5 of Pentacles and the the 2 opening that I'm not, they are, it's almost like this separate thing that it's almost like the bureaucratic thing that has to happen to make it official. But the rest of the cards, it's all your internal process. But I want to include already the bottom of the deck card, which is another 10, and this is the 10 of Cups. So remember all of the Cups cards from your first part, Cancer. And I feel like somehow this is the reason why I'm saying this is all happening internally. And even though there is a lot of fear, yes, there is a lot of fear, there is also this potential to really fulfill all of your dreams, right? It's like the same time that you are ending maybe a very harsh chapter in your life, this is also the opening. It's just that because it's at the bottom of the deck, this card, it's like this phase is not here yet, right? It's almost like once you sign the papers and you're just moving in, it's like all of the, what is the name of that syndrome? Like imposter syndrome, or like maybe fears of not being able to pay the rent or to sustain this way of living or whatever it is. But once you cross this door, it's like this phase of your life, right? The Ten of Swords is done. And you might not see it at first, right? Because we have the Knight of Cups. So there's another thing that I didn't mention with the Ten of Swords. Remember when I was talking about the whispers of intuition? So we have two swords here, but they are kind of lost, right? Or there's a lot that you couldn't see at first, but now that this has been officialized, right? And you have opened the door to this new phase, this completely transformational phase of your life. These two swords are still here. It's just that it's been embedded with so many more thoughts or expectations or like fears or insecurities or things that maybe it's like, if in the first part we saw these two swords as like these small intuitive nudges that, you know, just were guiding you not to create high expectations, but listen to whispers in a way that they are gentle and not overwhelming. It's almost like because maybe it hasn't been officialized, you could keep this apart from all that you already carry from previously, right? Or from your life so far, right? So what this Death card and this Ten of Swords are talking about to this Knight of Cups, it's almost like this Knight of Cups will feel like a very naive first time renter or first time owner of a home. And so maybe this will trigger a lot of fears, right? Fears from your life so far. And once you let these two swords, right, the whispers of intuition, go in the like it's almost like make way through the fear, through the insecurity, to let these very gentle intuitive whispers pass through, right, and reach you, because this will help you to find, in a sense, this, well, it is this evolution of the heart, because the King of Cups is here, and this is pretty much this upgrade. It's almost like this internal emotional maturity, right, that you are reaching because of this incredible new phase. But the way it's presenting itself is like this. So we have the Ten of Swords with the Knight of Cups, and then the Nine of Swords with the King of Cups. So the way that I'm seeing this, Cancer, is that at the beginning, right, it's like when you have just moved in or when you have just signed the paperwork, it's like all of the fears are there, and you're going to be stronger in a way that you cannot allow your fears to get in the way of your intuitive nudges, even though you cannot see too far ahead of what is going to happen in this new chapter. When you do so, it's not that your fears are going to be gone, right? It's just that they are going to like lower the volume or be a little bit less impactful, because with the King of Cups, right, it's like the sword of truth, meaning the sword of like intuitive guidance that is there to whisper in your ear and, you know, make way in this path that could be very fearful, or that could be very triggering for you because of, you know, maybe this is the first time doing this, or this is the first time moving out of your parents' home, or you know, signing such a big contract. It's like, and most of all, it's like, because it is related to finding your grounds, finding your home, finding your safety, it includes also not being responsible by your physical for your physical stability, right? It's like being responsible for your emotional growth, for your emotional development. And this is what you're doing, but I feel like it can be a lot of mental awareness, right? And consciousness in a way that you will have to fight against these swords with all of your heart, right? And this is like part of this transformation that you're going through, because it's not just happening in the physical sense. It's like your psyche, it's like your consciousness, your sensitive being is being shaped, or it's not quite this word, it's like is growing, right? Is developing, is evolving, because within all of the mental work that you might have to do to win against yourself, it's like win against your fears. It's not really win against yourself, it's more like make way through the fears, through the insecurities, right? Just to make sure that you are listening to the real guidance, not to the elusive ones, right? But just to the gentle whispers of intuition that are there. It's just that maybe in the whirlwind of things that are happening, because it's such an intense, big transformation, maybe you put everything into this mixed bag of fears and you're not realizing that the whispers of intuition are there too. And once you do make way, because I feel like you are making way, right? Even though it is maybe too intense, I feel like somehow you understand that this is something that you will have to always keep, what is the word? It's like you have to keep on paying attention, right? Because with the Seven of Swords, which is actually very fascinating, it was the same card that ended the extended for Gemini as well. And this card for Gemini was coming through as like a very troubled water, like some hard patch, you know, that God was protecting Gemini from, but with a very grounded advice, right? So here for you, Cancer, this is actually talking about mental maintenance. It's like if you allow yourself to mix fear, insecurities, and real intuitive guidance, it's like it's pretty easy that you find yourself lost, or find yourself, you know, putting everything into one bag and not considering anything, or considering that you cannot trust your intuition because it includes bringing back all of your fears. You see what I mean? So I feel like this, it's like bringing you to this very mature self, right? Once you are dealing with something that is real, right? Real in a sense that you are stepping into it, like not just emotionally and not just projecting yourself with your imagination. It's something that is really happening, like it's tangible, right? So this is a big deal for you, but you are reaching this mature point, and it's bringing you to this, it's almost like this is the point where you'll know that you are keeping with the mental work that is like a constant thing, right? And not to let yourself be in this position of mixing everything together and confusing yourself. And then remember, we have the bottom of the deck, which I feel like this is the ultimate fulfillment, right? It's like when you reach this point after the first few days or few weeks of maybe complete overwhelmment, where you are finding yourself like having to battle against the, you know, the imposter syndrome or whatever fears you have. It's like you are growing, you are maturing, and you are having your wishes and desires fulfilled, right? However they look like, because remember, it really doesn't matter what you are projecting for your future. It's almost like it has become part of your maturity, right? Now, point that you're standing upon, that this, it's almost like enjoy what you have because you already have plenty, right? Despite all of the work that you have to keep on doing in order to not let yourself be misguided by fears, and really pay attention to what your intuition is whispering, because it's very soft, it's very delicate, it's very easy to be mixed right into this bag of, well, I was going to say nonsense, but it's not nonsense. I'm not disregarding your fears. It's not about that. But it's like, do not confuse yourself, or do not bring yourself down, Cancer, when you are in a very abundant phase, right? In a very happy phase, or at least it's like it's part of this mature self of yours, that you know that the mental work will always be there and that you will have to always keep up with it. But you can also enjoy this. You can also bask in all of the emotional wonders, right, that you are experiencing. So let's see what the astrological runes want to add as a final guidance for you, Cancer. Oh, my bag is, I have to sew it. Okay. Okay, so we have 2 runes. This is interesting. So we have actually Gemini and we have Neptune. So the interesting thing that is coming through through this rune, through Gemini's rune, is if you feel compelled to listen or watch to the Gemini reading that I have just posted, then do so. I feel like there might be something there for you, Cancer. But there's also something else about this Gemini character that talks about duality, but being adaptable to consider options, right? And maybe we're talking about the home itself, or maybe we're talking about this decision making. It's like, consider all the options. But with Neptune, it's like all of the whispers of the of intuition that I heard with the Two of Swords, and that are, you know, here very highlighted with all of the swords and all of the mental work that you have to do in order to, it's almost like be able to discern your fears from your intuitive nudges, right? That may come, now it's coming through as like an internal voice. It's like maybe you have like a very distinct perception of when you are receiving this advices from this negative voice or from this very wise voice in your head, right? Because, you know, this is the interesting thing also, you know, Neptune is the most intuitive planet, right? It rules Pisces, so it is very linked to your intuition. It's almost like the source of the whispers of intuition. But Gemini, being air sign, being very mental, can put you in a very anxious place, Cancer, right? Of having so many options that you don't know what is what, or which is which, or, you know, is this my intuition showing me this, or is this something else just trying to get in the way, right? It's like pretty much attached to what we saw here with all of the swords and with this big transformation that you're going through once you cross this doorway, right? and you enter this new space, this new phase in your life. It's like, use your intuition to navigate all of the mental work that you have to keep on doing, because maybe you're not so well versed in this mental realm as Gemini, but this, it's not diminishing you, it's actually just enhancing your intuitive abilities, right? But how to navigate with your intuition on or in this mental realm, right? Maybe this is your challenge and part of this very intense transformative experience for you, right, Cancer? So I hope this was insightful for you. Thank you so, so much for being here with me. And especially today, because today, Cancer, is your solstice, right? Winter solstice here for the Southern Hemisphere, and the summer solstice. I keep on forgetting that because it's so weird to me, because, you know, Cancer season to me is always been winter. But anyways, if it's not for you, happy summer and happy winter for us here down in the south of the world, of the earth. So thank you again so much for being here with me, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.